been waiting in the water, just trying to survive. But God said there's more for me, more than staying alive. I'm stepping into power, into what was always mine. Divine joy rising, it's my time to shine.
Hey. Hello, everybody. To be here with you again. I am Diane Butts, and I am the host of Daughters of Divine Joy. It's so good to be with you again. Thank you for the applause. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm hot. I don't know why I'm hot. I'm just hot. I got the window open, but I am hot. I was going to take off this. It's not a sweatshirt, it's something very light, but I'm hot. Anyway, now that I got that out my system, it's good to be here with you again. Today we're going to talk about agency, and we're going to be talking about agency for a few weeks. And please cross your fingers and your toes and talk to Jesus about my guests coming on. I'm praying I can get them in a time frame that I want to get them to, because if not, we're going to have to talk about this topic in parts and in separate parts instead of it being a series. But I hope to develop this into a 3-part show, maybe 4 parts, depends on how far we get today. So I hope you enjoyed the new music, Walking on the Water. I'll talk about that much later, probably sometime in May. I'll talk about that song and what it means to me and how I came upon that. It is an interesting story behind it, but so that's going to be kind of a guiding thing. But anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. I hope y'all had a wonderful week. Mine has been so busy. I don't know what's going on. It just seems like the more I think that I'm taking parts of what's keeping me so busy and putting that aside or saying no to it, 5 other things crop up. So I guess those are things waiting in the wind. But I can't do everything. That I do know. And so I'm still taking a look at all these things cropping up and seeing how can I take some of that stuff and do other things with it. Find other people to help out, or, just say, I'm sorry, can't do it. And from experience, I know the people find a way. One way or the other, they will find a way. They'll find another person. There's always another who, what, or where. Okay, I'm trying to get some extra light on in here. I don't know what's going on. Okay, there. Ooh, that's really lit. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to talk about agency, and I don't know about you, but in the circles that I am in, a lot of people talk about agency, and nobody's really talked about, well, what is agency and what does it look like when it's in you, when you have agency? And it's more than just knowing who you are. It's not only knowing who you are and claiming all the parts of yourself. It's really about being whole and living an authentic life with audacity. Yes, baby, we got the nerves to be great. Yes. And when I said the nerve to be great, because a lot of times people, especially for women of color, people think we're not supposed to be who we actually are. They want us to be demure and quiet and soft, and we can be those things. Some of those things are part of who we are. But we're also assertive. We're also confident. We're also extremely intelligent and capable. We're those things too. And so when you have agency, you own that stuff. I'm not going to say the other S word, but we're going to say stuff today. We're going to own that stuff. We're owning it because it's who we are and who we accept ourselves as. So it's not, sometimes we have parts of ourselves that we aren't really comfortable with. That's not agency. That's an area of growth. It's an area of possibility. It's an area of becoming. But when you have agency, you're very comfortable with who you are and you walk in that stuff real good. You walk in it really well. You walk in it unapologetically. You are not bothered by people's reaction to who you are. Got me? Okay. So that's some big girl stuff. For some of us who may be in our 30s, we're struggling with that. We're struggling with that because sometimes we look for validation outside of ourselves. And when you are seeking that, you don't always get it. And it makes you doubt yourself because, you want other people to see what you see, or we want people to co sign on who you are. And they're not always going to do that because it's not always in their best interest. Okay, last week I told you about, me on my weight loss journey and all that and my health journey. Well, in that journey, if you've ever been on that journey, and anybody who has lost any weight at all know that there will be people to tell you, oh, you're getting too skinny. Too skinny for who? For you? Because I'm not doing this for you. What do you mean too skinny? What is that? Because, if you go from a size 18 and now you're 14, that's not too skinny. That's not even skinny. That's a different. And why are you uncomfortable with me being different? Actually at this point in my life, I don't even ask questions like that because it's none of their business. But those are the things that go through your mind. Why are you so worked up about what I look like? So we have to let those things go. When you have agency, you're not looking for permission to be granted. You're not looking for validation to somebody to co-sign or give a stamp of approval for who you are, because you got that. You know it already. It's how you operate, it's how you live, it's how you breathe, it's how you wake up in the morning. And I'm not saying you never have any doubt. Doubt is always something that will creep in sometimes. But doubt will be your moment of introspection. Doubt will be your moment of, just maybe taking a minute, take a breath. Let me, focus on this. Let me look at this from a different perspective. Let me dissect this feeling. Let me dissect these thoughts I'm having. Maybe even journal it or write it down. Have a conversation with somebody you trust, or a therapist, whomever's in your sphere that helps you to keep things together. I find as a coach, I really feel if somebody asked me, and recently I was thinking about this. If somebody asked me what kind of coaching I do, I usually say I'm a life coach. Really, I'm an agency coach. And I do that with younger women who are finding themselves. They are becoming. And I help them to own their stuff. Own it. Own it. Just own it. And if you can own it, then accept yourself in it. Then when you feel you need to change, you'll make whatever transformation you need to make. But you got to own your stuff right now. And so I want to get into this a little deeper. But at its core, agency really is the audacity to believe that your life, your full, expansive, joy-filled, divinely created life is not only possible, but it's deserved. All of it. And so when we live with that kind of audacity, it creates issues with folks sometimes. When people stand in your light, they can respond in several ways, but usually they either enjoy it or mesmerized or caught up in it, are encouraged by it, or they are threatened. And when they're threatened, maybe they don't feel like they're enough in your light, which begs the question, where's their light? Because I shouldn't have to shrink for you to feel better about yourself. Although I understand that feeling and I have compassion for that person that feels that way. I have worked with people who felt that way about themselves and helped them to make the transition to have more confidence and understand that everything they were looking for from out in the world was they already had, and so they just have to acknowledge that, and they do eventually. It's work, but it's good work. It's the work that It's a work of time. It's a work of investing in yourself. It's a work of dollars because it costs to have a coach coach you, but it's worth it. It's worth it because it's hard out here on women. We have so many images coming at us from so many different places, so many messages about how we should look and how we should be and how we should show up. And then you have all these negative microaggressions that come at you as well. We all live in a place of intersectionality. We're not just one thing, we're many things. And with some of those things come um, challenges. And I'm saying challenges because the word that rang in my mind is baggage. But it's not our baggage, it's the world's baggage that they try to give to us to carry. I'm not carrying it. So you have to make your decision of what you're going to carry and what you're not going to carry. I'm not carrying other people's fears. I'm not carrying other people's anxiety. It's not mine. I don't want it. I'm not carrying it. And so I say challenges because now I have a challenge because of your insecurity. And the challenge for me is making sure that you understand this is all in your head. This is all your stuff. And, um, you know, it's yours. And so I just want you to understand that it has nothing to do with me, who I am, how I approach, none of that stuff. Okay. So, um, and so I want you to know that we're going to be talking about how we can move through this world on our own terms, our own terms. And sometimes that means rejecting the terms that are made for us by our families, maybe some elders in our lives, maybe even the church. Because I can tell you, there's some things about women that I just purely reject. And they're not, I don't have to make any loud noise about it because I don't need to announce it to anybody, but don't expect me to be that. So, the first thing I want to talk about is mind and how agency shows up in your mind. I think about your intellectual life. Now, one thing I do know about Black women in particular, but this stands for women of many different cultures, especially people of color. Women don't play about their minds. We invest in education. We invest in being the at the top of our game when it comes to our careers. We will go back to school. We will get in debt behind some education. So yes, our intellect belongs to us. We treasure it. It's a precious gift that we have. And when we have the ability to move up and we have the ability to learn more, we do. And so let's make that clear. We are not trying to shrink. If we are brilliant people, we are brilliant people, period. There's no need to be less brilliant for what? To be in a relationship? How's that going to work? You cannot you cannot put a lampshade over your light because somebody else is scared of it. If it's too bright for them, then maybe they should not be in your orbit or in your atmosphere. And I'm not saying that to be mean or callous. I'm not saying that to be judgmental about the person that can't handle your life. That's not the person that belongs in your life. Well, at least not center stage. Maybe there is a peripheral part that they can play in your life, but not center stage. Um, I heard Michelle Obama, and I may have said this before, said everybody can't go with you because they can't handle the atmosphere. The air is different the higher you go. And so everybody can't take those elevations because they need to breathe down in the valley. They can't take the mountains. And so that's true for a lot of folks. Everybody can't go with you on your journey. And so intellectually, we need to understand how we are how we value our knowledge and our brilliance. We need to understand when other people don't. And be with those who are like-minded. Not saying you can't have a variety of friends, because the Lord knows I know people on at all levels of life. wonderful, brilliant, funny people, and but it's just different. Every level is different, but none of it is to be looked down upon or thought of as less than. Mm-mm. No, no, because I've seen some women with four children raising them by themselves, and I don't know how they do it, but they do the doggone thing. Okay, they manage to go on vacations, they manage to do things with their children, they are smart about their money, they save, they buy houses. So no, that's brilliance. That's brilliance. And so we have to be able to look at those different things and see how people show up in their own lives and for the people who love them, and realize that that takes a measure of intellect that not everybody has. Okay. The other thing is sometimes we walk around with narratives about who we're supposed to be that don't fit how we feel about ourselves or what we want to be and how we want to show up in this world. So I'm going to give you a story. I am coming up on my 50th anniversary of high school. And one of the things that I felt like was happening when I was in high school is we were being trained to be brilliant so that we can be good wives. Now, I went to a Catholic all-girl high school. It was very conservative, very, very Catholic, and very old school Catholic. And so, we were supposed to get married to somebody who had a good career, could provide for us, and have a lot of babies. So I wasn't gonna have a lot of babies because I knew at 16 that stuff wasn't exactly gonna play out for me in the baby making game. So that wasn't that wasn't anything to achieve. Um, and I knew there were so many things that women were capable of. Thank God for the women's movement and people. I'm not going to say I was a feminist, but more of a womanist, and understanding that I had agency. It wasn't called that then, but I knew I had it. And so there were things that I was trying to figure out and wanting to be. I didn't want to be somebody's wife that wasn't, I never had dreams of wedding dresses and big weddings and all that stuff. That was not a part of who I was. Um, and actually, I got married at age 59 and was starting to plan for not a big wedding. It's going to be less than 100 people, like 80 people. But that was too much. I just told my husband, I can't, I don't want to do this. Let's just go to church and do what we got to do. And that's what we did with 12 people. Um, so, hey, it wasn't bad. I had a white dress hanging in the closet. I put that on. He had on a suit. We went and did our thing, and that was it. Didn't need all that other stuff. However, um, the narratives that people write for us are not the narratives we need to cling to. We have to practice a little kujichagulia, self-determination. And so we write our own narratives for ourselves, and they don't have to be what our mothers did. They should not be a total rejection of our mothers unless you really feel like your mother did not provide um, an example of womanhood that you want to emulate. Okay. Um, you know what? I'm finish my statement and then we're gonna go for a little break. So in about another 45 seconds, you need to live your own wisdom. And so learn the lessons from your mother, self-correct in the things that you feel you would like to improve on, or the things that are about you that you want to nourish and grow in yourself. You don't need to reject her in order to not take the path that she took, but learn the lessons that were taught to you by her, because that's your mother for a reason. So there was something in her journey that was going to teach and direct your journey in a way, but it doesn't have to be the exact narrative. Okay. Very good. Hold on, we're going to a commercial break. Thank you so much for listening to PA Empowerment Network. All right, Wolfpack. Very good. Excuse me. Again, I'm Diane Butts and the host of Daughters of Divine Joy, and you are listening to the PA Empowerment Network. Excuse me. Oh, okay. The other thing that we need to do in terms to clear our mind and have um, clear our mind and know that the narratives we're building are about us is being able to name the things in the system that have impacted you. Um, I spoke about microaggressions. We know that there are mechanisms of oppression, of racism, of sexism. We know that there are systems that try to negate who we are, our even our humanity. However, true liberation is a mind thing. It's a mindset. So we need to free our minds of those internalized messages, as well as in order to create those narratives that we want to create, because we can't believe what people have told us we are. We can't believe that we are not welfare queens. We are not any of these other things, hoes, bitches, whatever else people want to call Black women or Black women call themselves. We're not those things. And so letting go of some of that, of letting go of the language and the thoughts that keep your mind enslaved, in chains, in bondage of low self-esteem is something that's very important, because if you don't free yourself of those things, having agency is very difficult to achieve because you don't think you deserve it. You don't think you can have it. You don't think it's possible. And you won't even try, because if you don't think those things are possible first, why try? Why even bother? I know in some circles, Christian circles, people think that um, God will do everything, God will fix everything. And, I've heard the thing, God helps those who helps themselves. I've heard, um, well, scripture says, man want to eat, got to work. Um, and I know that faith without works is dead. I believe that God had created us with the mind, and it's a precious gift. And we need to stretch it, to exercise it, to revere it, to love it enough to use it. To use it. We have wisdom that has been given to us. We have knowledge. Some things we know, we don't even know how we know, but we just do. Um, some of us are very much in touch with our inner voice, that what we would know as the Holy Spirit or our consciousness, however you want to look at it. But that inner voice, that wisdom that tells you things are going on, that warns you, that gives you that feeling that, you know what, I'm gonna sit right here. I remember I would put my coat on, it was wintertime. Yeah, it was fall, like a late fall. Put my coat on, had my purse on, keys in hand, getting ready to go to the car to pick up my daughter from school. And, my mind just said, sit down. That little voice said, sit down. And I sat down with my coat on and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the clock. I said, I sure don't know what I'm waiting for. And the phone rang. That phone call led, it was funny. Talking to my friend, she said, hold on. Another friend, a mutual friend, was calling her. She came back and said, listen, there's a job. And, you got to call this number, ask for this person, do it now. Okay, got off the phone, called, got an interview like 2 days later, went in, interviewed, ended up retirement from that job. That was the job that changed my life financially. And so I didn't know why I was sitting, but I sat because the spirit says sit. And if I don't do nothing else right in this world, I really try to listen to the spirit. And you know what? I taught my daughter to do the same thing. I taught her about the small, still voice, and you have to honor it. And I taught her to honor it by honoring it when she told me the voice was telling her something. I was going to go away on a business trip. It was a conference. I wanted to go because it was someplace fun. But I didn't have to go. And she said, "You know what, mommy? I don't feel like I need to be over at her friend's house this weekend. Something doesn't feel right, and I don't know what it is." You know what it was, and I didn't know what it was, but I did know I had to honor it because I can't tell her to honor the voice if I'm not going to honor it. And so, even to this day, I remember she was dating, and she was just kind of like keeping it light, dating other people, just trying to see who's out there and who's about what and all this, like we do. And so, she said, "Mommy, something doesn't feel right. This guy is just too much, like very demanding, but not overbearing, but there's just something like he just pushes things and it's not making me comfortable." And it was something like he wanted her to leave her car and he was going to meet her somewhere and then take her somewhere else. And she said, "I don't like the feeling." So I said, "Don't go. Don't go." I don't believe that music was playing. Don't go. And she didn't. And we don't know what was planned, but she said there was, a couple other, after a couple more interactions on the phone, she realized he was not the person for her. There was something very possessive and demanding and controlling about him. And she said, I can't, yeah, that's not a good move. I said, "Good, as long as you listen to your voice." Now, she was in her 30s at this time. Probably 31, just, yeah. But anyway, so yes, we have to silence those voices. We have to play some new tapes, give ourselves some new information. So that's where reframing comes in, and we're going to say some new things to ourselves. So you're going to affirm who you are. You're going to affirm the gifts that you walk with. You're going to affirm all the things you are capable of, because as you keep affirming those things, you'll be more confident in how you walk around with those things. You don't need to apologize for being anything. You just need to own it, treasure it, love it, and keep walking, baby. Okay? So, and the last thing in terms of mine, and we talk about this, and I talk about it all the time, is the boundaries, protecting your bandwidth. You cannot be everything to everybody. And sometimes you just got to say, "Hold on, wait a minute. I'm not the one for this moment. I'm not the one for this task. It's okay. They'll find somebody else, believe me. If it's too much, it's too much." Protecting your peace is what people call it. I don't call it that because, I feel like, God protects my peace. And so I do watch who I'm around. I'm very careful about that. I listen to the small voice that tells me to walk away, that tells me, say no, because you're not feeling this. And the one thing I don't do anymore is go ahead and attempt tasks that I'm not feeling. And I mean, not just because I don't feel like doing this, but I'm really in my spirit There's nothing there that's bubbling up. There's nothing there telling me this is good for you. This is nothing saying this is a good move. Yes, this will, you'll grow in this, or it'll do X, Y, and Z for you, or this is a way you can do, something that maybe a project or something. You see it as an open door. You see it as an opportunity to use your gifts and give to someone who may need it. All those things. And sometimes it does all those things, but you still need to say no because you're exhausted, because you need some time to yourself, because you need some time to invest in yourself. So no is an answer that you're going to have to give sometimes. And you don't have to get into it. There's some people I don't even debate with. I don't have discussions about opinions, especially if you're looking to be validated. Because I may not validate your opinion. I may think it's absolutely asinine. And so I'm not getting in a debate with you because you're trying to make me believe what you believe. I don't believe it. And it's okay that we don't believe the same thing. So instead of going back and forth with that, because that's what I'm not doing, is going back and forth with people, I just smile and I end the conversation. I don't have anything else to say. I'll just nod my head politely as I find my exit. It's hard if you're trapped in a car with them sometimes. Anyway, I don't mean trapped in the scary way. I just mean riding. Um, okay, so that's the mind part of it. In terms of body, um, please understand that you have been made a vessel to carry treasure. Um, Jars of clay with precious treasure. And the treasure that you carry is not um, to be handled roughly. It is not to be dismissed. It's not to be disparaged. It is your gift from the divine, and it helps you to move through this world to fulfill your purpose. So we don't allow people to decide who we are because of how we look. Um, if my nose is too wide or my hair is too kinky or my lips are too thick for you, then okay, that's fine. Because maybe your nose is too thin and your hair is too stringy and your lips are non-existent. But I can still see your humanity and I can still love you. Now, if you can't do the same for me, then I don't need to be in your space and I will remove myself. Um, I don't know how you all look at that. I don't know how it makes you feel when people try to other you because of what you may look like. Um, I think too that the scrutiny over Black women's bodies comes with um, a history of trauma, the abuse of our bodies, the sexualization of our bodies, even with young girls sometimes, to be looked at as body parts and not as whole beings. Those types of things, we have the ability to take ownership and demand the respect that we should have, um, and not be reduced to a size dress that you wear. And again, if that's all you see in me, then you don't see me. You actually don't see me. And I have a problem with that. Well, I have very little tolerance for it. Let's just say that. Um, and also, I, I talk about rest a lot because rest is the way we empower ourselves. It's the way we build ourselves. It is a way to replenish our energies, and it is a way um, to creatively get in touch with who we are By resting, yeah, having dreams and speaking to our elders and contemplating ideas and thoughts about different things. That's the way we build ourselves. That's the way we, is part of the process of becoming. And that's a beautiful thing. So, rest is important. The other thing that I want to talk about in terms of body or mention is that um, loving your body in terms of how you steward your body. What do you feed it? How do you take care of your skin? What do you do to nourish your hair? How do you not just adorn it? I'm talking about to really pay homage and love your body, love all of it, every bit. The stuff that we think we're not supposed to, the hairy legs, the stretch marks, the muffin tops, all of it, the skinny legs, all of it. That is part of your design. And we don't need to perform with our bodies in order to, as a way to show value or gain attention. Um, and I'm going to leave that alone because I don't want to appear too judgment, and I don't want to come down on younger women who may feel like because that is part of their body autonomy to be able to move like they want to move and shake what they want to shake and do whatever. And I say, go ahead, girl, because I know when I try to twerk, everything move, but the stuff that's supposed to move. So anyway, I don't do it. But if you do it, make sure you're doing it out of love for your body and not out of performance for someone else. Now, if that's the way you make money, then that's, hey, keep them dollars coming, baby. But I don't know what to say about that because I'm not going to judge a woman for how she makes her money. If that's how she feels of what, because I know there's girls working their way through college, um, and they are exotic dancers. So that is yours, but make sure whatever you're doing, you're loving it and feel empowered by how you are using your body. Um, because the moment you feel shame is the moment you have to stop. Because shame is not the emotion that you should be getting from how you move in your body. And we don't want anyone to shame us for our sexuality and how we love and how we, like I said, move in your body. But do it with pride and with joy about who you are when you do move in your body. Okay. And the last thing is the soul. We're going to go for a little break. I was going to do this at the 40th minute, but we can do it now. Okay, Mr. Engineer.
A doctor's calling. A company's mission. United for a greater good. When Edmark International, the pioneers of wellness, joined forces with Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, naturopath, the world gained a new weapon in the fight for true health. Co-created, science-backed, nature-powered. This isn't just a product. This is a movement. Born from decades of groundbreaking research, naturopathic mastery, and Edmark's relentless innovation.
The body wants to heal itself, and we have just given it the ultimate toolkit.
A detox unlike any other. A partnership unlike any other. The future of health starts now.
Amen. The future of health starts now. Trinity Detox. I try it because every once in a while we all need to detox. I don't know if you eat any processed foods, and if you're walking around in this world, you probably do have more processed foods than you want. But We need to take some time to honor our bodies by making sure that we clean out and have a detox every now and again. And Trinity is one way that you can do that. Okay, we're back with I'm Diane Butts once more. We're talking about agency and the power to live our full self, our purposeful selves, our whole selves, without apology, without shrinking, without trying to be someone else's version of who they say we should be. We're living out loud, we're living proud, and we're living our best lives. Amen. Amen. So, the last type of agency I want to talk about has to do with the soul, how you interact with the divine. That is a deeply personal thing. And I know for me, I know what I've learned and been taught in the church, but I also know what my personal theology is. I personally follow or am not a big fan of survival skills. I know God will make a way. I know God can do anything but fail. I know God can do this, that, and the other. But I'm very interested in what God has designed for me to do as well. And that is a little part of how the song Walking on Water came about. It is really about looking at some things that people think are impossible and knowing that God said, greater things will you do. Jesus said, greater things will you do. And I'm looking out greater. Okay, let's do greater, God. Let's do greater. Show me how to do greater. Open the doors for me to do greater. I want to walk on water. Yes, I want to walk on water. I want to have the faith to do the thing that looks impossible. So metaphorically, I'm talking about walking on water, but yes, your spiritual life should allow you to go after things that people say no to. Oh, you can't do that. But if you feel it in your spirit and that still small voice said, yes, go for it, then do it. You're not too old. You're not too black. You're not too woman. You're not too Latino. Your accent is not too thick. Your hair is not too kinky. You don't have too many tattoos. You don't have too many piercings. You are who you're supposed to be. And how you are is how you need to show up in whatever door God has opened for you to go through, or whatever door you had to kick in to get there. Because sometimes God shows us the door and we got to get in that door. And you can knock and they may not let you in. You can ring that doorbell. You can look in the window and try to get in. But sometimes you just got to kick that bad boy in and take what is yours. You don't have to do it leaving a trail of bodies. You don't have to do it in a way that's going to cause karma to come back at you. But you do it with your head held high, confident in who you are and what you can do, and go ahead and do what you got to do. Period. We are those women. We are those brilliant, capable women. And so we don't need to beg for crumbs. We've had crumbs already. It's time for the meal. And so our faith should be able to help us to move to those places where God has prepared us to be. Play small for who? And why? And I'm not saying not be humble, not be grateful. Because we also know that sometimes being grateful and humility are the big the instruments of faith that bless us. And so we're not kicking that aside. but we also are not belittling the gifts and treasures that we hold inside of us just so, I don't know, because somebody else doesn't think we should be there. What? One of the influencers I follow said she was on a plane, and a couple people noticed her and was talking to her, asking her about, things in her life. And the man next to her wanted to know, what are you doing with all that land you have? And, and she gave him an answer. It wasn't what he wanted to hear. It was unexpected. And some might even say a little crass. But she said he should have minded his business. Just because I'm sitting in first class and you don't think I should be here, I don't have to prove to you that I do, that I should be here, that I am here because this is how I move. We're done apologizing. Our ancestors, I'm not going to say they apologize. They've been through too much for us to sit here and shrink right now. In this world, in this day and age, in these politics, we're not doing that. So I just want to say to you all that agency is how you claim your entire life. And if you were living in America and a woman of color, whether you are Asian, African, Caribbean, Latino, whether you're, I don't know, Polynesian, whatever. I don't even know if people call themselves Polynesian, but whatever indigenous person that you are, if you ever been oppressed, if you have come from a place of oppression, please know that you don't have to live your life like that. Please know that you are better than what the oppressor says you are. And agency is how we take claim to who we want to be in this world, to how we want to show up in this world, and how to be full, how to live fully into this world. And sisters, there's no apology. There's no apology. Just audacity. No apology, just audacity, because I'm not apologizing for anybody, and I'm not shrinking for anyone. It's funny, I said, I wanted to go back to school, and I said, I don't know. My husband said, why not? And I was like, well, there's so much stuff going on with the family, and we got to do this, and, this is time. He said, don't let that be your excuse. Find another one. And I was like, oh, shoot. Okay, well, I guess I don't have an excuse. I guess I better go ahead and do what I got to do. Sometimes we do things because we just have to do it, because we have this yearning or this gift inside of us. And if we don't use it, we feel like we are wasting it. And so we do the hard thing. I want to, as I close, I want to just thank you all for watching this show. Sometimes I look at the numbers and I have no idea, because I don't get some of the background information that Kendall does. Kendall Stevenson is the founder and the brains behind the PA Empowerment Network. I am glad to consider him a friend, and he makes room for me to be able to do this. And one of the things that I told him is that I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like it. And he keeps telling me, well, I went somewhere and found out people are actually watching the show. And so he started sharing some of the analytics with me, and I said, okay, you're just making me more nervous. You're just making me more nervous. And he said, what are you nervous for? He said, people watching, they like it. I know, but that causes more anxiety. But it's the thing that I have to do. It's the thing, it's a calling. It's a calling. It's something that was calling me. I'm not saying I was born to be in front of cameras. No, these things that I talk about, there is something burning, like fire shut up in my bones, it's burning for me to speak about these things to women. Like, I wish I had somebody to say these things to me when I was younger. There's so many mistakes I would have. I don't know if I would have avoided all of them, but there's a lot of them I would have thought twice about before making certain decisions or going down certain roads. Let's just say that. Because I was always a person who could learn from other folks. I like listening to people's stories. I was always enchanted by how people made certain decisions when they found themselves facing certain challenges. I've always loved it and learned lessons from those people because of their lives. So it's not as if I could not learn from others. But sometimes, experience will be your teacher, and that alone. But I may have been, done things a little differently had I had some older women pour into me in a way in which I'm trying to pour into other women. And sometimes you just need somebody to tell you you're on the right track. You need to hear it coming out of somebody else's mouth. Because people can make you doubt yourself, and they can make you feel like you're some kind of weirdo because you are demanding certain things, that your life be lived in a certain way. And you demand a lot from yourself, and sometimes probably people around you. When you realize there are people that can meet those demands. But there's a certain way that we want to live, and it's okay. It's good. We can have standards. You can have principles. You can have ethics. You can walk around with comportment. It's good. It's all right. And so sometimes you just need to hear that. So I just want to close by saying, meet me here next week at the same time, and we can continue talking about agency. We're going to get into behavior. What does it look like when you're acting with agency? We're going to get into intimacy and relationships. We may do both of those next week. And then we'll get into, attitude, emotional stability, and how you walk, how you carry yourself when you have agency. So there's a lot of different aspects of this that I want to dissect. And, hopefully, let me know. Please like and subscribe to PA Empowerment Network on YouTube. You can join us on Facebook, Instagram, all the major places where you chat and talk to folks and meet up with your favorite influencers. But and tune in. Mondays we have Mental Health Mondays. Now I wrote all this stuff down. Here it is. Mental Health Mondays with Hope Christensen, I think her last name is. Politrix and Kendall and Company will do that. Kendall Stevenson. The Empowerment Show on Wednesdays. Tuesdays, you have Divine Joy with yours truly. And right after my show will be Sharing Your Light with Chris. And so that's another show that's on the same level. We are growing. This network has been here for a year, right? A year, and is growing in a good way, quick, in a steady way. I'll say steady, quickly. I would say quickly because it's quickly in my world. But it's been growing steadily. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate the phone calls. We appreciate all the comments that are made. I appreciate those people that are setting their timers on their phones so they can tune in. God bless you all. I love you so much, and I appreciate every last one of you. And please know that I pray for everyone who listens. I ask God to give me something to say that people need to hear. And so if you're getting something out of this, please, shoot me an email, comment on the social media, and, let me know how you feel of me. Okay. Take care, my lovelies. Be blessed. Love.
to survive. But God said there's more for me, more than staying alive. I'm stepping into power, into what was always mine. Divine joy rising, it's my time.